and Claudia, and we are going to talk about the case Moreno Gomez versus Spain 4143/02 ECHR 2004. We are going to start off with the summary about the case.
The applicant, Pilar Moreno Gomez, is a Spanish national who was born in 1948. She has lived in a flat in a residential quarter of Valencia since 1970. Since 1974, the Valencia City Council has allowed bars, pubs and discotheques to open in the vicinity of her home, making it impossible for local residents to sleep. In view of the problems caused by the noise, the City Council commissioned a report by an expert who found that the noise levels were unacceptable and exceeded the permitted levels, reaching 115 decibels after 3:30 a.m. on Saturday mornings. An independent police report to the City Council indicated that the local residents' complaints were founded and that nightclubs and discotheques in the sector did not systematically close on time.
In 1996, the City Council designated the area an acoustically saturated zone, thereby imposing a ban on new activities such as opening the nightclubs as they led to acoustic saturation. Despite the ban, the City Council granted a license a month later for a discotheque to be opened in the building in which the applicant lived. The license was subsequently declared invalid by the court in October 2001. In August 1997, the applicant lodged a preliminary claim with the Valencia City Council, having received no reply from the authorities. She followed it up with an application for judicial review to the Valencia High Court of Justice, which was dismissed in a judgment of 21st July 1998. The applicant then lodged an amparo appeal, which the Constitutional Court declared admissible. However, by a judgment of 29 May 2001, it dismissed her appeal, holding that she had not proved the existence of a direct link between the noise and the alleged danger of the existence of a nuisance in her home amounting to a violation of the Constitution. So, Claudia, what's the main problem here?
The main problem is that as it was an acoustically saturated zone declared by the City Council and the license was granted a month later, this regulation was violated from the European Convention on Human Rights, which says that everyone has the right to respect for his private and family life, his home and his correspondence.
And Article 8 also says that there shall be no interference by a public authority with the exercise of this right, except such as in accordance with the law and is necessary in a democratic society in the interest of the national security, public safety, or the economic well-being of the country, for the prevention of disorder or crime, and for the protection of health or morals. Also, it will include the protection of the rights and freedoms of the others.
The main arguments of this case are that Pilar Moreno Gomez decided to fight for her rights as she perceived they were being violated. Even though she was in her legal right to do so, she could have thought about other measures or the consequences her denouncement would have, as closing the bar in her building would not stop the other discotheques and pubs noise. And she decided to start a legal fight against the City Council in order to close all of the nightclubs in her quarter.
Nevertheless, she didn't thought about that the only pub downstairs was violating her right to respect for private and family life. Therefore, it would have been easier and much quicker to directly denounce the bar. If she really expected some kind of change, Pilar should have collected signatures from the neighborhood in order to close all the affected zone. And where have we searched all of this information? Where can we find anything about this case?
Well, the first thing that we had was the name of the case, which was Moreno Gomez versus Spain. So we went to the university first because we needed the university city signal in order to enter Arantiri Westlore. And when we had found the case, we copy and pasted the information, and that was all our research in a private webpage. Then we searched the case in Google, where we found a summary of the case and other relevant information.
Well, during this course, we've learned many things. But firstly, we're going to talk about what the course aims. This course is aimed to introduce students to university life from a legal point of view. It provided tools that help us to study law and to work with it. We've learned certain skills that we will use during our academic life and certainly in our professional experiences. So, Claudia, what have we learned?
We've learned many things in this semester. We know how to distinguish and use sources or legal information. We can orally present the results of our study or legal research, and we've also learned to use the basic studying skills and research. Also, we can read, understand and interpret different types of legal texts, and we can analyze legal problems, synthesize them in order to approach and solve the legal problem. What do you think?
Well, I think we've also learned more things. We can now have basic knowledge about legal argumentation, and we can use information and communication technologies in the procurement and selection of legal information. We can also search, localize, analyze, and correctly select various sources of legal information. We have developed the ability of analyzing and synthesizing legal texts, jurisprudence, and doctrines. And finally, we can now appropriately use ICT in order to locate, evaluate, use, and communicate legal information. And after all, we've been studying and going to class. Which one do you believe was the best activity we've done?
The best activity, without doubt, was going to the City of Justice and attending a real judgment for the first time. It was a really interesting activity, and as it demonstrated how the studies we are doing now will be applied in the future. And the worst activity, what do you think?
Well, I believe the worst activity was the talks about the library, because they were too long and very tiring. Nevertheless, I think they are necessary, because if not, we could not get books out of them. But they were too long.
I agree with you.
Okay.
The changes that we would do in this subject is that we would try to make the class more participative. Nevertheless, the teacher not only has helped us with his subject, but has been a reference with any problem that has appeared in any subject and in the university as a whole.
That's true, because he really helped us with all the exams and the problems we had with other teachers, and he was very useful in developing our academic course. And have you thought about the grade we are going to have, or do you have any ideas?
I think that as I've been attending to all classes and we've worked very actively in all of them, I think that we are expecting a relatively high grade, no?
Maybe Pepe takes into consideration our participation and attending to class.
I hope so.
That's all. Thank you very much, Pepe.